The players gave him a chance, you know what I mean? I've never done nothing worthwhile in my life, I can say, but now a lot of people are depending on me. Oh, can't wait to get to Berlin.
Well, the Germans had seen cowboys before, you know. I spent my money on cowboys' gear and studied drinking it.
They call our daughters as a wee bit outre, you know. We're not exactly daughters, we're just the underclass, you see. And going to Berlin, all my life I've been told to shut up. You know that. Now, for the first time in my life, I'm being paid at least a nominal sum for actually talking. This is amazing.
No home, no money, no security, and no love were just some of the problems faced daily by the men of Edinburgh's grass market. Turning this into a play, Glad, director Jeremy Weller used the real people to perform a portrait of life within a hostel. It went on to win a fringe first at the Edinburgh Festival. It travelled to London before arriving here at the Volksbühne Theatre in Berlin.
Taking it back to Edinburgh.
No, I'm too long in the building trade to get enamoured about stone of any kind.
Jesse, you're not leaving, man. Jesse, you're not leaving, man. You're not leaving. Tell me you're not leaving. Tell me you're not leaving.
I looked for the people who were in the most extreme position of homelessness, and I wanted people who were staying in hostels full time, the older people, and I also wanted people who were living on the street at that moment. I took these people and found out what their experiences were and wrote these into a play form.
Although there is a structure, the script changes from night to night. The story of the making of the play is itself part of the play, so professional actors work alongside the homeless people to play, for example, the director or the warden of the hostel.
So Terry, you do a bit of Richard II?
Come on, move it. We got a chance.
Rainer Rutke, East Berlin's social affairs officer, saw the play in Edinburgh and brought it here as a warning to the people of East Germany of the downside of capitalism.
And it was my hope that something of the power of the play would rub off in Berlin, and that's why I had to bring it here.
None of the members of the cast who were homeless had any passports, and none of them had any birth certificates, and it was very difficult finding out who their parents were, where they were born. The worst one of the lot was Vince, and he didn't know who his parents were, he didn't know how old he was. The hostel had very little idea of his date of birth, and he can't read and write anyway. And so they did a search in the registry house in Edinburgh, and they found somebody who might be around his age. They didn't look at his teeth or anything like that, but, you know, and someone who fitted the bill, and they gave us that birth certificate. But it wasn't over then, because you meant to sign your passport, and Vince can't read and write, so he had to put his thumbprint at the bottom of the passport.
A very simple question. How did you raise the money for the project? How did you find the people? How did you motivate them to work with you?
It's very difficult. It's a nightmare, basically. If I say this is about people who've lived on the street, I go and find people who live on the street, and when I talk to them, would say to me, piss off, or try and beat me up. They're the more interesting people to get involved in the play, not the people who say, oh yes, homeless play, I'd love to be involved.
I didn't trust him. I thought he was an English yuppie bastard, just to put it that way, right? Because he had a smooth way of talking, and I distrust people who speak smoothly, you know what I mean? So I says, nah, I can't do it, Because, like, It was hard, but I done it.
What do you want? You want to make him look like his son?
Hey!
Market a tramp!
You're jealous!
Just taking it.
You're jealous, that's what you are!
The part I play is quite good. I quite enjoy it. It is half of me and it's half of someone else. It's experiences of people I've met in these places where I've got it off. And I've told, you know, mate, how I ended up in the People's Palace, you know? Anyone can end up in this situation, homelessness. Let's get things right. Anyone.
There's schizophrenics in here, there's drug addicts, there's perverts, there's alcoholics.
An actor in Edinburgh said, he said, I don't need to go and see Glad. He said, I know the kind of thing it's going to be. It's a freak show. It's just that kind of thing. He said, I don't really need to see it. I can guess what it's going to be about. It's got people who are homeless. I don't want to see people who are homeless degrading themselves. So Gary said, right, you haven't seen it. So he said, no. So Gary just gave him a headbutt.
Great, right?
So that's how we deal with critics.
And if we make it here, it's goodbye Edinburgh, hello New York. You know.
But why come to Berlin with this particular play? Well, it was homelessness that brought down the city government here after the infamous Battle of Mainzerstrasse.
In November, there was a riot in this street here as police tried to move out illegal squatters. Now, there's still a police presence in the street, but as you can see, builders are already in there and gutting out most of these buildings. Now, all big cities have a problem with homelessness, but Berlin is facing a particular crisis. Since reunification, rents in the east have shot up to match those in the west. Now, people also see Berlin as soon to be the seat of government, which of course means workers come in here looking for work, but without homes.
Ich denke, es gibt zwischen 5 und 10.000.
I think there are between 5 and 10,000 homeless people in Berlin. We have to do something, not just provide homes, not just provide food, but help them have a real life. And that's what this play does. I thought it was great.
Und das war dieses Stück. Und das fand ich toll.
The theatre canteen has been turned into a temporary soup kitchen to let the cast meet some of Berlin's homeless. Language is a problem, but there's ways round it.
I like to make people cry. I'm a throb singer. What do you call a throb singer? When I sing them, the people got lumps in their throat and tears around them.
You've been in homes and institutes all his life.
I've been in homes all my life. Yeah. Worked in schools, listed, even been in the jail. Yeah.
But the play is not just relevant to homeless people. Glad portrays people who have no material wealth, but still have a strong sense of identity. For East Germans who have lost their own identity, whose country has effectively disappeared after 40 years, there's a strong message.
Es ist wie ein Tunnel, an dessen Ende Licht ist.
It's like a tunnel, and you can see light at the end of it. Sometimes you go through hell in this tunnel, but at the end there is light. And that's the great hope that I got from this play.
Are you catching all this, are you?
Being in Berlin is not all politics. In a city famed for its nightlife, the company are invited to a club with a difference.
Cowboy Club! You brought your horse!
Well, I kicked on the build and I kicked on the pole, kick on the shoes and I come on a purr. Dance on the kitchen to the morning light, was the other Saturday night. Sitting on a corner, sitting on a lawn, singing some brother and a wonder dove. Got a comic can and the feeling all right, was the other Saturday night. Bye, brother,
Well, I like bouncing, you know. It's good for you. Exercises all your organs. Is that all right?
Next morning, a more sombre visit. The memorial to the victims of fascism. The only time the older men were abroad before was during the war.
The new generation may not know much about this era, of what I went through. I was posted to the 80th Field Regiment when we came in the invasion. And I did come up through here, as I went through it, but it's all flattened to the ground.
1637098 that was my number. I finished up in the Pioneer Corps.
When I was called up towards the end of 1942, I was eager to get to it. I knew the reasons why. I knew this was an evil regime and had to be destroyed.
Somebody must be moving to come back to it.
Yes, fantastic. I wouldn't miss this for anything in the world.
Back at the theatre, the job of getting the show on the road goes on.
No, we don't want the blue out.
You sind nicht blöd, you sind Tageslicht.
Oh, yeah, I know, but we want like a gold one. The guys, we need to get a translator.
Müssen wir so kaufen.
But we've got a clear.
Oder 100 Watt. 100 Watt.
Yeah. Yeah, the money's in here. It's like talking to a brick wall, eh?
Das sind 200 Watt.
Sind die in Gruppen?
Ja.
Yeah, they're in groups.
No.
Einzeln?
Yeah,
Muss
ein
einzeln
light,
sein.
ein circuit. But we tried to say that today, you know.
Was wir gemacht
To
haben.
sort of try and organise yourself around what they've already done.
Wir werden gucken,
To an
was wir
extent.
finden.
They're going to have a look what they can find and see.
Die Großen?
It's a hard day. It's like going back to India. At least in India I could talk to the Indians, you know, they could speak a wee bit English and stuff like that, but you don't speak German and, you know, and I mean, the stuff they've got is just, it's really old stuff. And there's all the regulations are now facing coming for the West and things like that. It's just... So it'll be a hoot. Hopefully. No, the other one's out. Right, that one, yeah.
Good?
Yeah?
524.
Kevin came up to me this morning when I'd just got into the theatre and I was feeling really tired, and he came up to me and said, "My dungarees are missing. I want my dungarees sorted out. I want it sorted out." And I just thought, so I thought, better put that in. And you must be insistent. Whatever you think, you come up to me and say, "My dungarees are missing. My dungarees are missing."
So you want me just
give...
to actually come up and go, "My dungarees are stolen. I want you to sort it out."
Not too aggressive though, because you weren't aggressive with me. You just said, "I want my dungarees sorted out."
By the way, I found them.
Oh, good.
Right. Action.
What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with me? This place, I can't stand it, Stephen.
What is it, time of the month or something? What's wrong with you?
Very smart. You don't care about me, Stephen, do you? You care about these bloody alcoholics.
This conversation, you're aiming it at me. But it's all about you, isn't it? It's me, all the time. That's what it is.
I was just waiting for a friend at Sloane Square and in London, and I noticed somebody was staring at me. So, I sort of felt about uneasy about this. So I was moved away, and about 5 minutes later, this man approached me and started saying something about was I an actress, and saying, just leave me alone, go away. And he was telling me about some play about the homeless, or it was a new type of theatre.
What I wanted was a very middle-class girl who hadn't acted before. And so I thought, well, I'll go to Sloane Square. I'm bound in London, bound to find someone there who looked right and was right. So I found Helen.
The part I play is a middle-class girl being put into a situation of these homeless, these violent people, alcoholics, and in real life, Jeremy is seeing how I squirm, or how I don't get on, how I do get on, how we react with each other.
I'll tell you why you're here. Because you think you can save these people. Well, you can't. They don't need saving.
Shut up! And listen to me. I've had enough of this. There's 3 things we worry about: being unloved, being unhappy, and having no home, okay? They've got none of that. They've got conversation coming out their ears. And you give me a hard time for it. Because you know what you are? You're a stuck-up little bitch.
Thank you very much!
Again, go on.
You make them sound like cavemen, Stephen.
Cavemen. That's a good analogy, because if they're cavemen, what's that make you, a Barbie doll or something? Do you want this? Is it what you want?
Just go away.
The tensions that arise in the group are enormous. I mean, the play gives you some idea. The play is shocking, it's raw, it's violent, it's angry. And the reason it's like that is because the people in it can produce this violence and energy and anger at will. And they can only do that because that's the way they are when they come off again afterwards. And the play doesn't end not after the performance. It goes on afterwards.
You got a money for drink? Can you come to me for Matty? Sharpton! Sharpton! You go back to Edinburgh and load it with money, cowboy.
Alright, break it up, boys, break it up.
I was brought up in children's homes.
Jimmy Watson, who has the lead role in the play, is on a 1-year deferred sentence for serious assault.
Listen, I mean, like, for the last 4 days you've been coming in here, right? You've been asking everybody about violence. What are you after?
The thing is that I don't think I've experienced violence in the way that you have, okay?
What?
I don't imagine my experience of violence is the same as yours. So
What are you trying to tell me? You've never experienced violence?
Not in the way that I imagine
you have. Never experienced violence?
Richard, not in the...
Wait there.
Richard, just...
This is part of the play. In this show, there's a very fine line between theatre and reality.
I want to get some things... What you doing? Richard. Oh, no, look, come on, just put the button...
Is this what you want? Is this the violence you want? No. Is it? You getting a buzz?
Just put the...
You getting a buzz?
No, just put the button down, Richard.
Had you there, didn't I? Well, if I tell you I wouldn't have been realistic.
Realistic? Bloody bottle in my throat.
You shit yourself, mate, didn't you?
Yeah, I shit myself.
Sitting there, you shit yourself.
I shit myself, all right?
If you want the truth of something, you have to go to it and take the consequences. Yes, it does get out of hand. I haven't been hit yet. Actually, the other things happened. I hit one of the cast.
The judge deferred sentence for a year just to see if I could stay out of trouble. And, like, since then, totally different person altogether now. I didn't go stealing anymore, you know, I don't go fighting anymore, but, like, I'm still very hot-tempered.
So how are we going to solve these problems?
They're very tense, but we're ready. I'm a bit worried myself because though it's a visual play, I'm worried about the language side, although we're having the prologue and epilogue narrated, so that'll help. But I am worried.
You're worrying about the chair more than Terry. It's Terry, acting. Terry, you're acting. That's not acting. You go for Terry, not the chair. Right, forget the chair then. Don't kick the chair, not then.
We're sitting around blind, you are.
The audience are going to be brought down through the auditorium and onto the stage. All these theatre seats and the theatre as it is isn't necessary.
So the proximity is very important.
Very important that the audience really rub shoulders with people that normally they would avoid. In this play, we can't pass them by because we paid money to come and hear what they think and see them. When I first met Terry, Terry said to me, there's a glass wall between me and the world outside. He told me the other day that the glass wall was starting to break. And he also said he never feels closer to people than when he's on the stage. For the first time in his life, he felt the warmth of sympathy from other people when he walks towards the audience.
This is no ordinary play.
Das ist kein gewöhnliches Theaterstück.
This is not legitimate theatre.
Das ist was man nicht erwartet.
It is a play about the lodging house.
Das ist
A
Theater
play
aus dem Asyl.
about the dormitory. And even indeed a play about the stair entry.
Right in the middle of the performance in London, Terry suddenly walked out the fire exit. He just went straight out the door, straight out the road to the pub. One of the characters in the cast, who wasn't acting at the time, had to run out after him and drag him back. If there's nothing occupying his mind, it goes straight on to the Carlsberg special.
Oh, wondrous bliss. Oh, joy sublime.
Wunderbare Freude.
I've Carlsberg with me all the time.
Do you find you're in a situation where you have to be keeping an eye on the older as well as the younger ones all the time?
Oh, yes. 24 hours a day. I mean, Terry's a prime example. He's got to have somebody looking after him all the time. Sally. And just to make sure he only has 4 cans a day and that somebody else is looking after Cecil and Cowboy.
Oh, come here, Cecil. I want a photograph of you and Brezhnev.
Cecil's the same at night. I mean, he doesn't drink during the day, but as soon as it comes to night, you think it's whiskey time. And he has to be practically lifted into bed every night.
Say, don't you remember they called me out? It was out all the time. Say, don't you remember I'm your pal? Brother, can you spare a dime? Brother, can you spare a dime?
Well, I was deeply impressed, honestly.
I was deeply moved, and I can tell you that a great message came through.
I'm sure it worked. It is not very different, the problem in Berlin than in Glasgow or Edinburgh or London.
I thought they really appreciated what they've seen. I was taken back by it. It was quite fantastic.
It's amazing. It was that loud, man. I couldn't believe it myself. I just went on for 10 minutes, man.
I felt very good. I must admit, I was getting a bit of a buzz of it. I was getting a buzz of it, you know what I mean? They kept on clapping and clapping, we kept going in.
They said in the theatre that it's unheard of, this response to a play, and that Germans don't clap like this. It was unheard of.
Would you like it?
At the end of it, I thought of my situation here. Last November, I went out saying no violence. And now I'm getting more and more angry and more worried, and I feel very violent.
Why are you feeling this way? Why are you feeling violent?
I feel we are being colonized here. And I'm very sad about it. And we didn't get the time to develop our own democracy here. We are being told what to do. And other people are telling us what's good for us, as it was 40 years ago.
I've been homeless since September. Now I'll travel to Berlin Airport, or I'll sleep in the S-Bahn, or anywhere I can find a space.
What did you make of the play?
What did I make of it? Quite a lot, and I took it really seriously.
Future. It's just a shame it's going to have to finish at one point. I know it's going to come to an end, but for the old guys it might be a wee bit harder for them. But like, they'll have loved every single minute of it, I'm sure.
Some of the people, when the play's over, are going to resort to their former lives, but my belief is they'll never finally go back to their old lives, because now they're teetering between two worlds. It's up to them to choose which world they want to go into.